afternoon, I'm Eyck. I'm the executive chef at Charting Clubhouse. I'm in charge of the Western cuisine, so for Bistro, Centurion and Lady Purse. And today we're cooking a dish that's very close to my heart, which you will find in any German summer garden. If you go to Germany to have your beer, it's going to be a potato salad, my grandmother's recipe, with some veal escalopinoise or Schnitzel as we call it, which is obviously veal loin, very thin buttoned out. We pan it with flour, egg, breadcrumbs, then we fry it in little deep oil. And for the potato salad we need bacon, optional, but as I said, my grandmother's salad always has bacon, some thyme, some parsley, red onion, some spring onion, boiled potatoes, which are soft, not too soft, but boiled. Dijon mustard, Pommery mustard, gherkin, very important. I put a little bit of chicken stock in just to intensify the flavor, vinegar and oil. So let's start by doing this salad first, because the salad, potato salad, is best if you do it on the day you eat it and then you leave it at room temperature, and all the juices which we do now, the dressing, will go into the potato and it will stay nice and moist, and it's just beautiful. If you put it in the fridge, the flavor slightly change. Whatever's left over, keep it in the fridge. But the salad is best if you do it, leave it out there for 2 hours to marinate and then eat it. We start off, you need a pan, and we start off with the onions. You can use red or white. Red is a little bit nicer color, so I'm using red. Which we slice. There are two types of potato salads really in Germany. Up in the north we also use mayonnaise, similar ingredients to this, but we mix it with mayonnaise. And then as you come further south, it's usually the dressing one, which what we call dressing potato salad, which is this. So we have the onions. You can put a little bit of garlic. I don't think it needs garlic, so I'm not going to put any garlic. Touch of oil, not too much oil, because we're going to add some bacon as well. But then again, enough oil, because it's also the dressing, and obviously any salad needs a little bit of oil and vinegar. The dressing is usually done in quick 5 minutes, but it's important that it's cooked to release the flavor. We have some nice pancetta or smoky bacon. This will give this potato salad a very good edge. As I said, you can do it without, but trust me, if you eat bacon, then you should do it with, because the potato salad is divine. That can go in with the onions. We sweat it all together so all the flavor of the bacon, the smokiness of the bacon gets released into the onion and into the dressing as well, which will give this potato salad its unique flavor. Also, what helps it, if we sweat the onions, like I said a few times before in my cooking classes, they get less aggressive in flavor, become a little bit sweet, and it gives it a nice round taste. This should take about 1 to 2 minutes. Again, like with most things I cook, I put a little bit of thyme in there as well. You just want the leaves. Finely chopped. Again, anything which we put in this pot will become part of the dressing, so there's nothing getting drained, nothing is thrown away. It's all becoming part of the potato salad. So all the flavors we create will actually stay here. That smells already pretty good. We can turn that down. That's the cooking part, just the onion, thyme, and bacon. What we do now is we add a little bit of vinegar. I use white balsamic because again it has a little bit of a sweetness to it, which I like. You can use a good apple wine vinegar just as well. And we're also going to use the liquid of the pickled cucumber, of the pickled gherkins, which is already with mustard seeds and flavor. That will help the potato salad as well for the flavor. So we have the white balsamic. Those, if you sometimes they're struggling opening up, just little tap on the board, obviously not on metal because the glass might break, but on something plastic or rubbery, and that will help open the lid. Little bit of this juice in the potato salad as well. My grandmother never wasted anything. She was from a different generation, as she's no longer with me or with us. But this is a beautiful brine, already with sugar, vinegar, some seasoning, so it would be a shame to throw this away. Then we have the gherkins, pickle. Just quarter them and then finely slice them. That goes in the dressing. This is the kind of salad us Germans we like to make when we go a grilling party or on the weekend. We eat with frankfurters, with sausages, with Schnitzel, you name it. We just eat it by itself as well. We make like little burger style pork dumplings, burger patties, but from pork, boulette we call it. This is also something we would eat that with. Okay, so now we have the gherkin in. Pinch of sugar, depending on the vinegar you use, always brings out the flavor. Some pepper. I also put a little bit of chicken powder in. Again, my grandmother's recipe, and it brings out the flavor and makes the potato salad very aromatic. If you don't want that, then that's fine. Mustard, I use 2 types if you have, if not, 1 mustard will be fine. So we're using a little bit of Dijon. Germans love their mustard, so we're being quite generous here. And I also use a little bit of the Pommery mustard, which is a grain mustard, so basically the mustard seeds. These are similar style, but these are very finely pureed, the seeds. And this mustard obviously keeps the seeds as it is. And it looks quite appealing in that potato salad. Mixing this all in. And that dressing should be warm. The potatoes should be warm and the dressing should be warm when we marinate it. So everything really goes into the potato and helps develop the flavor and the aroma. Pinch of salt, not too much if you use chicken powder, because the chicken powder is already quite salty. You can always adjust seasoning afterwards. Clean up the kitchen a little bit. Good. Okay. So here we have the potatoes, which are warm, and I have 3 more potatoes, and we peel them, nice and easy. If you have a smaller knife, even better. And this is my favorite knife, so I'm doing almost every job that can be done. I'm doing with this knife. Cut in half depending on the size. And in it goes. What we do now is you put this warm dressing on top of the potato salad. On top of the potato, not salad. We make it the salad. So just on top of the potato. Just like this. When you mix it very gentle. We don't want the potatoes to break up. Yeah, so we have all the flavors. Look at this. And you should see a little juice when you fill it up. Don't worry, this juice will be absorbed by the potatoes. We're going to finish this one off with a little bit of parsley, which I washed, and we just finely chop. Again, like before, sharp knife. So all the minerals, all the juice stays in the parsley and nothing is left on the chopping board. Goes into potato salad. Look at those colors, beautiful. Some people put radishes, you know, or fresh cucumber. You can also put in Berlin, in the area around Berlin, we put a little bit of fresh cucumber in there. Entirely up to you, but this is my favorite salad, like my grandmother used to make for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some cling film on top, and we're going to let this rest and marinate and soak for about an hour would be perfect. But you can see already the juice has already been absorbed by the potatoes, so that's going to be perfect. So while the potato salad is marinating, we're going to prepare the Schnitzel. The Schnitzel is a veal loin, yeah, very clean, everything beautiful trimmed, which we're going to button out very thin. Then we roll it in flour. The flour we're going to season with some salt and a little pinch of pepper. That will be the coating. We have one egg, which I'm just going to break the whole egg, and we're going to beat that up either with a whisk or with a fork. And we have some breadcrumbs. If you use panko breadcrumbs, just make sure you powder them a little bit more finer. They shouldn't be too coarse if you do a German style or Austrian style Schnitzel. For the meat to button out, I just have 3 or 4 layers of cling film which I put on top of each other, and that will help to button out the veal. We put that between. Put the other one on top, and I have a professional tool. If you don't have this, you can also use a very heavy cooking pot by all means, and it's going to get a little bit noisy, and then you just move the as you button it out, and it becomes very as I said, a little bit noisy. In Germany I've seen Schnitzel this big. Here we're going to do it slightly smaller. So we have a nice thin veal, as you can see. We put it in the flour. And the secret to a good Schnitzel is you dust off the excess flour. Yeah, so you just give it a little. We want the crust, the pane, what the chefs call pane, we want to be as light as possible. So any excess flour off, into the egg yolk. Sorry, not egg yolk, into the whole egg. Roll it around again. Just keep it relatively thin, don't have it too thick. And then into the breadcrumbs. And until you use it, you can actually leave it in the breadcrumbs. What we need then is a frying pan, big enough, not too big, because obviously we use lots of oil. The Schnitzel should be swimming in oil when you do that. And obviously the bigger the pan and the smaller the Schnitzel, the more oil you use, and you're wasting also ingredients and energy. So we're waiting for the pan to get hot. We use vegetable oil, grapeseed oil, sunflower oil. It's perfect for this. Oh, it's not quite hot yet. If you want to test the oil, usually what you do is you throw a little bit of flour in there or a little bit of breadcrumbs, and once it starts bubbling up, that means the oil is hot. This only fries about 1 minute on each side, so the temperature of the oil is quite important. What we don't want is that the oil is too cold and it goes soggy and it makes the crust soggy, because obviously we just want to fry it. So it needs to be hot enough that by the time it goes in, the egg and the flour will start cooking, which makes it a perfect crispy outside, but the inside, the meat will still stay nice and moist. All the juices will stay in there, and it cooks slowly. So the crust is actually twofold. Two reasons. One is to obviously make it nice and tasty and appealing looking, but a little bit like in fish and chips, the butter actually on the outside cooks the meat and keeps it nice and moist if you cook it perfectly. What you also prepare, because obviously then we have to move quite fast, but you also prepare is a little bit of paper, because as the Schnitzel comes out, we wanted to drain it off, any excess fat we want off there. The potato salad is nicely marinated, as you can see. I can put them on the plate. Look at that, nice and moist, all the flavors, beautiful. That's how potato salad should be like. Not too dry, just like this. We're using a little bit of spring onions for garnish on top of the potato salad. Again, optional. And we have a little lemon wedge. To go with the Schnitzel, we take the seed out. Perfect. And the one here. I see the oil is nice and hot. And as you put the Schnitzel in, you can see it bubbles up and it moves. You shake your Schnitzel a little bit so it doesn't, the heat is getting distributed evenly. Be careful not to have any water or anything on your hands, because obviously if you put water or any liquid in there, it will throw it right back at you. So just make sure you're not near water. You can see the edges already getting golden brown. We want the golden brown color, not too dark, not too light. It's time to turn, that's it. In Germany, when we do the big ones, then you fry it in a big pan as well. The Schnitzel should bubble up a little bit, because the breadcrumbs are very fine. Those breadcrumbs are the local breadcrumbs. They are not the best, but for our purposes okay. But usually the Schnitzel bubbles up a little bit. That's a sign of a good Schnitzel. So we have a minute on each side, nice and crispy. We just pattern off the excess fat, put the pan aside. We lay this on your plate onto the potato salad. Sprinkle everything with a little bit of spring onions. And there you have it, my German Schnitzel, not as big as it usually is in Germany, with my grandmother's potato salad with some bacon and a little lemon wedge. Please enjoy. Thanks for having joined me today. I hope you enjoyed this little cooking lesson. This is a very simple, classical German dish. Please try it. Thank you.